Oh hey, didn't see you there. Welcome to part 2 of this Now series. If you're new, basically, as I create my other videos, I come across things I cannot fit in the video in any way. So I jot it down in a notepad and forget about it. Then sometime later, like now, I open it up and talk about some of the weirdest and most obscure things I've found. So, without further ado, here are some more Halo oddities. On the package on Halo Reach, there is actually a way to duplicate Emil, June, and Carter. I'll explain the asterisk on Carter in a bit. After you defeat the 2 AA turrets near the start, you watch these 3 fly by on a Falcon, and then later you see them here fighting some Covenant. But these are actually separate instances of Noble Team, meaning that if we use the Acrophobia skull, fly up and get Carter out of the driver's seat, we can pilot the Falcon and prevent them from unloading. If you get them out, they will walk around. Weirdly, this Emil actually has an assault rifle with some of the magazine missing. We can check by killing him and picking it up. Oh yeah, you can kill these guys too, and they will get up after a while to interesting results. Carter has an asterisk because more likely than not he will just walk off the map, since that is the path that the Falcon would have taken if he was in it. This one is fun to mess around with, especially since the A-posing June and Emil can armor lock despite not using the animations for it. Although I wouldn't recommend killing them in front of themselves too much. I guess they share pain or something. Speaking of bringing allies into areas they don't belong to, if you bring a Marine on a Mongoose into the area after the Scarab fight, it would delete the Mongoose and the Marine on it. If you attempt to just drive into the door, it will not let you through, but if you get out and melee or brute shot it inside, then get on it, you will be able to drive it past where you are unable to normally. Then, once it loads the next area, it will deload the Mongoose and the Marine on it. I'm not 100% sure why this happens, but I can make a decent guess. Basically, every level in Halo is split into different zones, or BSPs. Each BSP has a different zone set, which contains each object in a given zone. So this could be weapons, vehicles, boxes, or Marines. What I'm guessing is that this zone set contains Mongooses for this boss fight, and then the next area, because there are no Mongooses here, doesn't have Mongooses in the available objects, so it gets rid of it. For the Marine, it's probably just that he's on it and is an unwilling, unknowing passenger into the great beyond. This area on the Storm is just generally pretty broken. In the skybox there are actually 2 AA guns, one that is just representative of where the next one will be, and meant to loom in the distance as you play the mission, and one that is half cut off and where the actual AA gun is later in the level. Over the course of a week or so, I managed to get on top of both of these without acrophobia. The only thing you will need to do both of these is a grav lift and a brute shot, and I'd recommend bandana for the unlimited ammo. Basically, as soon as the Bravo chapter title comes up, you will want to be over here by the start of the area. Then jump here and here, and you can walk out of bounds super easily. Then quickly run over here, the Scarab will probably spawn, and you will want to do this jump here. Once you make it here, I'd wait for a checkpoint if you haven't gotten one. Now here is the weird part. Some parts of the invisible floor here extend out to the edge of the map. And if you walk along here and get to the end here, once you start sloping down, you are now on one part that extends out of the map. You can follow this and jump onto the leg of the AA gun and throw the grav lift here. Then use the brute shot and a well-timed jump to get up here, and you can walk around all over this AA gun. For the other one, getting near it is actually easier, but the jump at the end is very difficult. It took me a few days. Basically, this entire area is an invisible floor, and there is some collision that is almost like a guardrail, so you can walk directly towards the AA gun and not worry about falling off unless you jump. Once you get near the AA gun, jump onto this bit of collision here, and slowly inch forward until you just barely start sloping down. Then use a grenade and brute shot jump to get on the leg. Then place the grav lift here, And with a grenade and gravlet jump, you can bounce off this surface and land safely inside the top of the other AA gun. I have no clue if anyone else has done this, but this is the route I figured out.
Future Herm here, and this was done, and has been for a while. In this video, someone actually launched onto the AA gun from here with a chopper, but you know I couldn't let them win. So, after 11 hours of attempts, here is my magnum opus. Enjoy.
Speaking of grenades, alright, I know that transition was a stretch, shut up. On Forerunner in Halo 4, if you throw a grenade to where the knight jumps on you before he does, after the animation, instead of teleporting away normally, it will attempt to melee you and vanish just before hitting you. There's nothing crazy to this, I just thought it was funny. Similar in nature is this guy here. I don't know what I did to do this, but when recording footage for my last video talking about how Halo simulates things going away fast by shrinking them, a glitch regarding that happened with this little fella. When the enemies in the airlock section get un-airlocked by the player, they normally fly out really far into space, or at least it looks like it. You can actually see from here that they just go out a little and then shrink quickly. Normally this works flawlessly, but for some reason an elite survived while I was playing. He then charged at me with his sword and eventually just died. I have no clue what I did to trigger this. Considering the only reason I saw it was that he charged me, I wonder how many times this has happened just for the person to not realize. So whenever you're playing the best mission in Halo 4 again, look out for any airlock escapees. Let's take a quick break from the more elaborate bugs and nitpick random corners that don't affect anything. On the package at Rally Point Charlie, there is a box right here that is floating above the ground. On Lone Wolf, this box is also floating. While messing around on Floodgate, I somehow got this cart to stick into the ground. And the Mammoth is 100% not up to code due to the hole in the frame here. On Delta Halo, the pod you come out of is actually backwards in both the original and MCC remaster versions. And on any level with an ally that charges a plasma pistol in Halo 2, if you trade them a different weapon while they are charging it, they will shoot it with no bullets coming out, although with a carbine they will only shoot once. Finally, this elite at the end of Sacred Icon does not have a functioning energy shield, meaning it will most likely die from any carbine flood. Let's get back to regularly scheduled useless knowledge. On Exodus, while defending the elevator, getting in the far side cannon of this phantom and letting it take you through the wall here will allow you to exit onto the other side of the building here. This area is a little playable and you can jump around here, but I'm mostly surprised that an area surrounded by invisible elastic barriers is actually playable, since most of the time it would have a death timer. Another funny thing on Exodus is using this phantom that drops off a few enemies. If you get in this turret here, then ride till about here, exit, fly to about here to avoid the death timer. Getting back in the phantom will do this weird visual glitch. This is out of bounds so you can fly around here, but if you stay near the phantom it will eventually fall out of the air, while retaining its original hitbox. You can ride it using the turret, but you will despawn. If you get out while in a wall, congratulations, you are soft locked. On Tsavo Highway, there is an extremely easy way to get onto the map floor. All it requires is a brute shot. Once you get to the end of the level, you can run past the enemies here and use a brute shot jump across the gap here onto the rocks here. Then after jumping here and over this little polygon so you don't slide off, you can jump onto the corner of this and walk up it and out of the map. Now this next section is basically just a lot of walking, like a lot. But if you basically just go here and walk all the way around the hill, you will eventually fall out of the map and land on the map floor. You can then walk anywhere into the skybox. Well, mostly. Getting too close to the regular level will kill you due to death barriers. Regardless, this is an extremely easy way to get to the map floor that I found by complete accident. Speaking of complete accidents, I shit my pants. I found a way to destroy the Lich in Halo 4 from the bottom floor. You can throw a plasma grenade such that it lands right here above the gravity lift and it can destroy the core of the Lich. It's somewhat precise, but it isn't the hardest thing ever, and I'm sure there aren't too many fans of this specific section. From what I could tell, this doesn't soft lock the level, since I know that's a very common thing, especially since you can knock Lasky off the mammoth at the start of the mission and the cannon will not have an AI, thus soft locking the level. Or, for speedrunning, jumping onto it as soon as possible and destroying it before it can even disable the mammoth cannon has a chance to soft lock the level. I think. There's actually a pretty easy way to get to the underwater temple on Regret in Halo 2, where you melee a couple of these Covenant crates into the sub and then activate it and wait a bit. Normally you would teleport back inside, but because of the crates you teleport on top of it. Then wait here and land on this edge. Once the sub leaves, you can jump into the water and fly around using acrophobia, since you can't survive the jump without it unfortunately. This actually works at either submarine, and it's super cool to explore down here, seeing all the low poly fish swimming around. I feel like a lot of people have wanted to explore this as a kid, and I was definitely one of them. The most elaborate finding from me jumping into walls and hoping something breaks is a series of time travel glitches on Forerunner that completely break the sequences of these lasers up top. Throughout the level you go to 2 different communication jammers to unjam them so you can talk to Captain Del Rio, everyone's favorite character. Usually when reaching either jammer there is a giant laser that shoots out of these balls that you attempt to turn off. But breaking out of bounds and navigating load zones so you don't load into a wall, a quick tip for these is that you can fly beneath these little transitional areas. You can fly to the top and load the tower area early, and if you look closely, you might miss the difference. That's right, there is a hidden picture of David Hasselhoff. The laser's gone. You can still stop the now missing laser and continue with the level, but something interesting happens when you fly down the elevator shaft. Once you land on the elevator that you normally would have used to get up and fly back up, you will notice that the laser is now active, but the thing to stop it still isn't. And there is now an activate on your screen for the elevator. Now, after going through the portal, you can see that the activate switch notification and the objective for the portal will stay out in space. You can do this with both towers, and now this mission doesn't make sense. I can't believe 343 didn't account for this. What will this mean for the timeline? Anyways, if you do this in here and skip everything, you can see that a switch is now where the objective marker will be later in the level, which probably means that unloaded switches is how they make these objective markers appear. Alright, that was way too long. Let's dial it in for the last few weird things I noticed. Did you know, according to the Carnage reports at the end of each level, there are actually brutes in Halo Combat Evolved? Not really, but the Carnage report that is supposed to list everything the player killed at the end of the level mistakes the engines on them all as brutes. This is most likely because alphabetically brutes are the first enemy listed, and since engines don't really have a category, the game just gives them the role of brutes. Similarly, on the Great Journey, these brutes that pilot ghosts at the start of the level actually carry regular plasma rifles and not brute plasma rifles. Finally, if you die in ODST while getting intel, you can open your visor while dying. Well, that was pretty fun. I think my favorite part about Halo in general is just it is simultaneously the most broken and least broken game I've played probably ever. You could casually play this game for thousands of hours and never come across glitches. But the moment you start looking, they are just about everywhere. Every nook and cranny has me jumping into it nowadays and seeing if I can get something stuck or do some launch with it. One bonus thing that happened is Arbiter getting launched out of Floodgate by some combat forms, but this literally has no effects on the rest of the level, so it just kind of looks weird. I also independently discovered that a gravity hammer swing while standing against one of these boxes can make you fly, but speedrunners have been using that for years. Same thing for the Forerunner thing, but only on one of the towers. Anyways, I've been yapping a bit too much, so I'll let you guys go.
Oh fuck, I forgot to shield for